Like, I'm in a hurry. This month is completely booked up for me, and I didn't even do a spell check or anything else for that many days.
Well, either you in life, either you have too much work or none at all. So it's good to be better.
I saw the article saying that you were shot on, on the news, on the internet. And I was feeling.
No, we got all of them. We were just getting you when you came. Okay. What about him? He has the same email, huh?
No, you have email. Talking about people try to punish you through.
If he wants
that
it.
works with the gals.
So that's why if you look on this documentary, Brain Invaders, that you're in. The guy talks about there's a common denominator among the 1,000 people in the U.S. that has these problems. They have all spoke out against the politicians. And they're doing this system that activates, that creates a punishment that goes through the around. My name is Robert. It means warriors and killers.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Robert.
Robert Bennett. The thing about that on the way here, and through this whole thing, it seems like we're all moving. I don't know, but don't you think the average person has a tendency to do that? Anyone who don't even do anything, they're going to do stuff.
This is
Not if you're in control.
What was that?
Like the martial artists, you can throw a punch in a martial art. They'll block his punch and they'll walk away. That's self-control. They don't have to engage you.
And that's not the type of motivation that
Was Mark, I was
I need the pin. It's the pin. You got your email?
I'm already on, I get the internet.
You don't have
His email.
Sorry, ma'am, I know.
This is a different list. This is for Levi. He has the newsletter too.
Okay, all right.
If you want it, you don't have to. He has a lot of good information.
Okay,
After that, he had weak-minded people now attacking him.
Why did they, I mean, where was that? I didn't even know.
Just go on the internet. Ask him right here.
Your name is, my name is Yeah,
So yeah, but this is the type of
Why did you go? I mean,
I always recommend
where did you get
hikes where you have an actual eat
were you driving or?
Well, either an eagle or
an angry person. Believe me, I keep things on
because these types it's kind of like a triangle where you actually have to be right off the source of the
I mean, it's a very real phenomenon. I've been watching it for
You know,
4
you
years.
saw the guy who shot
They didn't get. I don't think they got charged. But my mom said when she was dying, they tell you
Yeah.
she said my family ran for their lives, but she said, and my brain is we're getting hammered way up there. It's all totally. And then they had the anti-Nobel.
Call
They started
911.
charging her. First of all,
And then they arrested the guy.
but my family was whatever ended up. But I misunderstood.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because the guy started stopping freelance, but I called him out on it in front of a bunch of people and started laughing at him. They laughed at him, and he got scared and ran off. What's that? Yeah, but with him trying to stalk me, it was ridiculous. So is everyone ready to start?
Was there any connection, like, this guy, like,
I need my pen.
suspicious as to,
You're going to say some important thing.
I know what I'm saying, but it's like,
Shenanigans.
any connection to.
Next time I'll bring a little pen.
So that's what I would think too. I wonder what he thought you did.
I can use 1,000 pens. If I have 1,000 pens. Oh, go ahead. I'll find a pen.
What's that?
Maybe he wasn't shooting it.
Are you going to do like a YouTube with it or something like that?
Yeah,
I've watched for 14 years of
videos.
Activists and going against the grain, talking. There's usually a reciprocal punishment phase that happens.
Grants Pass.
Did someone bail him out?
Right? Grants Pass? Is that the area?
Klamath Falls, below that. Way below that.
It's
I mean,
like
it's
30
ridiculous.
miles
I was
out
getting
of
attacked so bad, you
Medford.
have no idea. Years ago, I
Grants
called
Pass or
Japanese
Grants?
Buddhists
Grants
Oh,
for
okay.
help.
Something.
They called
Thank
their
you.
main temple in Japan for help. Japan got sent an earthquake and a tsunami after that. mean, that's how out of control this thing is.
Oh, I've got that.
Here's the HARP output right before the earthquake.
I have them hold
I mean,
on.
I've seen stuff you have no idea. You know, you fight evil and then it comes back big time.
What were you doing speaking of? What were you saying?
What happened to him is relatively small compared to sending
Of
earthquakes
course,
in Japan from the HARP system.
What were you saying though that,
The same stuff I'm saying right now.
which is?
Everything I've seen.
Well, let's get started with this. Let's get started with, because he only had so much time and he came all the way from the desert.
Yeah, well,
There was a money.
anyway, my name's Levi McCann. I've worked in the computer science field and electronics field, network engineering for 21 years now, I guess. Graduated with 2 degrees from University of California, Berkeley. Got my master's degree as well. And I guess what else? Kind of talking myself down. I've been a college professor for computer science. I wrote the entire student record systems for 16 colleges in California. I also been a teacher for advanced placement kids in Las Vegas. And to make me a target, I brought a judge down in Las Vegas who was embezzling over $1 million a month, along with Las Vegas Metro Police people. And so the judge got fired, and also the judge got fired, but numerous Metro Police Department people got fired, and 2 of the 3 major network stations picked up the story, and you know, it basically my targeting started from there. After that, I had a big bullseye on my back, and I was even told by a bailiff, because it's governmental targeting. They go after me for the most ridiculous things, and I've been to court, I think 72 times or something.
So,
and,
fabricating false charges?
Oh, yeah, that runs the gambit, really, but.
Or financial attacks through fabricated legal things?
Financial attacks, phony charges being brought against me, things that have nothing to do with me whatsoever. You name it, it's probably been charged on me at some point in time. So anyway, make a long story short, I've had to prove myself innocent on everything because obviously I'm not a criminal and didn't do anything. But so, it comes down to I had another phony charge a year and a half after I moved out of Las Vegas, so I had to go back to court in Las Vegas, which I don't know why they would try to charge me with a crime a year and a half after I didn't live there anymore. But now it's Las Vegas, so yeah.
You want to go to 2 questions? How did you bring, briefly, I know I'm not trying to interrupt the thing, how did you bring it down, and 2, did your harassment kind of stop in Las Vegas?
No, I got put on the Fusion Center list in Las Vegas, so the Fusion Center people started coming after me.
What's a Fusion Center?
I'll get to that in a second.
All right.
So anyway, I had gone to Las Vegas when I got there really early in the morning. It was about 6 in the morning. Courthouse opens about 8:30. Saw the same bailiff that's always in the same courtroom I have to go into, and he said, "What are you doing back here?" And I said, "Oh, I got another phony charge that they charged me a year and a half after I moved out of the town." And he had seen everything they tried to charge me with, and he knew it was all phony. And he goes, just a word of advice, and from what I've heard is Metro PD, has a target on you, and Nevada Highway Patrol has a target on you too. So, you need to, really watch your back. And what he was telling me was exactly what it was. Nevada Highway Patrol, they wanted to pull me over and throw me in jail for any reason, as did the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. And a fusion center is, usually it's a building, but there's 3 in Las Vegas, 1 in San Diego. That's the one they transferred me over to from Las Vegas. But usually it's a building that downtown doesn't have any signs or anything on the building, and they will have FBI, police, sheriffs, ATF, DOJ, they put them all together inside of one building, and they get names put on their fusion center lists, and they go out of their way to try to find something, dirt on people, so they can try to charge them with crimes that were never committed. You know, that's basically what a fusion center is, and the way it works is they try to criminalize people and, you know, drive them financially, you know, into the ground in order so they can't defend themselves in court, even though they're in the right. And you know, I've had 2 of my homes raided without search warrants. One in Vegas literally was blown up, and when I say blown up, I'm not exaggerating. It was actually blown apart.
Were you supposed to be in there when that happened?
You know, I don't know. I was at a family reunion for 2 days, but they came to the hotel I was at and brought me back, and my house was literally blown apart. I mean, like, there was glass from the front sliding door probably 40 feet across the room into my kitchen and my sink and stuff. I mean, when I say blew my house up, I'm not kidding. So anyway, that's a bit about me. Another time they raided my house and didn't have a search warrant.
Are you a resident of Vegas? Are you a resident there?
Not anymore. I'm a resident of California.
I see. Okay.
I've been a resident of California for 3 years. I was even a resident of California for 2 years, you know, prior to them trying to charge me with another phony crime in Vegas. That never happened.
Did you find out how they blew up your house? Was it through the smart meters?
No, they used grenades and shotguns and stuff to actually blow my house
You wouldn't
up.
come out.
No, I wasn't even there.
I know.
My giant metal door, you know, one of the heavy duty metal doors, was bent in half, you know, so.
Do you know where the fusion centers are in Los Angeles?
There's 3 of them in Los Angeles, and the ones in Los Angeles only deal with the Los Angeles area. That's why they put me on the one in San Diego, because that deals with the outlying areas as well.
Do you believe that the fusion centers are also where they do some training courses for the people in the neighborhood watches?
Yeah, they do, and you know, they're also the people that you know, the phony InfraGard people, you know, get information from fusion centers or give phony information to fusion centers, and you know, all in all, it's a bad idea because, you know, say somebody gets mad at their girlfriend or something, you know, and want to destroy their life. You know, it's easy to do with, you know, with all that.
Fairly unconstitutional.
Yeah, and the whole idea of a fusion center is completely unconstitutional. And you know, and they especially this last time when they raided my house and literally tore apart my house for 4 hours without a search warrant because I told them they couldn't come in my house and they didn't have probable cause. Then they, you know, grabbed me, threw me outside of my house, tasered me, put me in some sort of chicken hole where, you know, I thought my arm was going to pop out of the socket, and yelled a bunch of obscenities at me, and arrested me outside my house. And I still said, look, you can't go in my house, you don't have probable cause. I gave you 3 verifiable sources, so. And they didn't matter. They still searched my house.
You know, I concur with you about everything except the one thing that interrupts my whole thought process with the fusion center idea, which I do believe exists, is the fact that if their goal was to get evidence to put us in jail, they had me now 250 times, and every single time they chose not to put me in jail, which leads me to the whole other conclusion that their goal is to, you know, for training purposes, whatever their purposes are, that they want you out of jail because they've got to use you.
Bingo. And that's what the very beginning of what my presentation.
I got a fast question. Did you almost have a heart attack in jail? Heart beating real fast, right when you were getting checked in medically?
Not that I recall. I mean,
I'm still learning about this phenomenon.
I mean, jail.
You're nervous and excited.
Yeah, jail.
Wow,
I mean, they
what's
stick
going on?
you in the grossest place on earth for 24 hours to 48 hours, and by the time they send you up to, you know, a pod, I mean, you're about half punch drunk from being awake and smelling stinky, gross people for, you know, a day or 2. So.
And you can't smoke and no food and no water.
Yeah, whatever they feed you isn't food. I mean, it's not even good.
Sometimes they don't give you anything at all.
I mean,
Not that
I wouldn't feed what they give people in jail to my dogs, so let's put it that
You
way.
try to measure the energy on the food.
Whatever the food is, it's some sort of wannabe baloney for the most part. So
I couldn't stand it unless I cleaned out the energy of it. I absolutely couldn't.
Well, yeah, I mean, this
energetically.
isn't a talk about being in jail, but I was actually in jail for 86 days without any charges being pressed against me. So I was sitting in jail in Las Vegas for 86 days, no charges.
Sorry to interrupt again. I know you have a show here to do a presentation. Just want to say, have you ever gone to another judge or anything, or tried to sue or anything like that? I mean, it sounds
Malicious,
atrocious. I mean,
malicious
Sounds like
prosecution.
entertainment.
I mean, go into your house without a search warrant.
Levi?
Yeah.
Dolores is calling. She wants you to call her.
Okay. I'll call her in a second. The thing is laws are different in Nevada than they are in California.
So this was taking place in Nevada and in the Las Vegas area?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have a 10-year statute of limitations to go after them. So, mind you, it's on my mind. I will go back after
It's
them.
tough when they use black magic, though. You will talk to 80 attorneys, and none of them will take the case. That's what happened to me. I talked to 80.
I already have my attorney in Vegas, and he's a great attorney, and he is ready to take the case anytime I want to.
Then they don't follow him around and threaten him?
Oh, I've seen him shred cops on the stand, and literally the cops started tears coming out of his eyes.
That's great,
for
but
lying
then when
and
he
stuff
leaves
like that.
outside, just going around Vegas, that
Well,
doesn't happen, you know?
it's just the nature of the beast, you know.
I guess so.
And then another thing with Las Vegas is they don't have any appellate courts either. So a lot of people with Las Vegas justice system or Nevada justice system, they'll take a plea deal, you know, because you know a lesser plea is something that they had nothing to do with what they did. So they get a lesser amount of time, but there's no appellate courts except for the Supreme Court of Nevada, which has a 10-year backlog on it anyway. So you see how bad the justice system actually is in Nevada.
How did you catch this judge, though? This is something like what? I mean, how did you...
The one I had that got fired?
Yeah.
Just the corruption and he set up a program that was a cash-only program for people that had to do programs for his support.
Okay.
And number one, they never issued receipts. Number two, it was all cash only. They didn't take ATMs or credit cards or anything. They never gave receipts out. So I took a counter and just started counting people versus, then I called the comptroller, and I don't know if you know what a comptroller is, but everything done, I've worked for the government many times, but everything done within the government is done under different allocation codes. Allocation codes are funds of money that for things to get done with. Well, the comptroller, I asked him how much money did they take in, you know, that was deposited in the bank, because literally this money disappeared into Las Vegas Metro Police hands, and it's all cash until it's actually deposited and counted in the bank. And the count and the actual amount of money didn't add up. $1 million was missing. And this was happening 3 times a month. And so on top of that, he couldn't give me the allocation codes, and he couldn't give me what the money was being used for. So that's how that all worked.
God, I understand. I'm just curious, but in Vegas and stuff, the way it used to be, now the corporate bandits there.
Well, it's ran by Mormons now.
Yes, exactly. But I'm surprised you're talking to this. I mean,
well, if it was still ran by the mob, I mean everything would have been fine. But
Smith, you know,
yeah, but it's ran by Mormons now. So anyway, I'm sorry for a false start, but let me call Dee Dee real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay.
Did you get his email, guys?
Yeah.
CFI Enterprises something?
Support at CFIenterprises.com. Support at Charles Frank, Idaho, Enterprises.com.
Thank you.
Very careful, sure.
Watch that.
What is that?
This is our warmer for the pizzas.
Oh, okay.
Put them in there for delivery.
Awesome.
Seconds after another driver pointed the barrel of his gun at his expedition, and his neighbor called for help. Struck by bullets.
You're really good for driving a car. You're both moving?
Yesterday, the other neighbor was trying to transition from the 5 to the 91 freeway. We gotta do pull over and let the guy go. First, as he tried to speed away during rush hour.
How fast were you going?
From 65, it was rush hour, from 65 to 90. He was dodging me.
No, I mean when he shot you.
Yeah, what do they call that? Like amateur
He's confident. It looks like he hit your car more than once, too.
Sore throat is now, you can't even eat. Not a good way to lose weight.
That was you? I think that happened right after I started sharing about documentary Brain Invaders with other people. So a lot of the people in there probably were targeted for, revenge for talking. Did you know this? Because you're a high credibility witness, right? Retired police officer.
Always fun when people call you to tell you they're going to be late.
Oh, you were?
So I kind of know the law.
You're retired from where? What agency?
Great TV.
Oh, very good.
Vitamin D.
So this stuff must be atrocious. Why do you think they're bugging you?
Because they're picking out population.
How do they bug you?
To target.
No, I mean, they fall around or they...
According to what they're, what they're
Yeah, which
usually
reminds me, I think they're
Xanax.
using a lot of AI, like with the pump system and with social engineering.
Well, I can hear
Look
her.
stuff.
I can hear her.
But how do you know I'm
Their
your
house
top?
all the time. I can hear my house.
Maybe there's some sort of put away.
They put what do you call it?
I'm just being devil's advocate.
No, that's a good point too. You got it. We're talking about that. Remember, you put someone away, and then they send so much negativity to you.
Should we continue on here? Without getting sidetracked?
That's a good point.
Get this show started.
That's a good point.
I have a lot of stuff I'm trying to get through, so, and not a lot of time. Anyway, the first thing.
Okay, we're continuing. He's continuing, thank you.
The first thing I wanted to talk about are the types of targeting that I've actually seen. And they really boil down into 3 with a subset on the third one of targeting. There's governmental targeting, which I'm a prime example of, which they spare no expense on targeting. I mean, anything and everything goes to how they target you. And it's all done via the government. And, it has to do with false charges, false allegations, electronic harassment, tinnitus in the ears, ringing in the ears.
You can probably hear the high frequency images when they come in.
The attempts of, trying to make you nauseous via the high frequencies. And the way they do that with the high frequencies, it actually affects your inner ear. And that's what it causes the same thing, like you get seasick or motion sickness, and it's the same type of
So it's not radiation, you don't think?
No, well, I think it's probably infrasound or ultrasound. I mean, I've got a couple devices here I'm going to show you.
Are you being stalked?
Oh, I've been stalked quite a bit by numerous people, street theater, the whole 9 yards. So anyway, my phone obviously has been tapped at least since '05, I know. So there's the governmental type targeting. There's the second type is what I call military type targeting, and that's when a lot of times when you get the voice to skull or the subliminal images in your head, and they also use scripts. And from all the TIs I've actually talked to, there's actually, I'm going to sit down for a second because my lower back's sore. But out of all the TIs I've talked to that experience voice to skull, subliminal images, they tend to run basically about 12 scripts. They're kind of pathetic. One of the main ones is what they call the satanic script. and they try to get people to believe that their friends, family, support groups are members of a, you know, satanic, ritualistic church or something like that. And also what they do is they try to implant images in your head when you close your eyes. And you always know they're false because the images are always in 2 dimensions. They're not 3-dimensional like we see. And so military, part of what they do with the military also is, I think that it's also more of the experimental area of the newer types of technology that they're trying out to see what they do. And the way I kind of understood it working, it's kind of like a computer program that they have a screen, and they can actually direct, what they're going to do to each individual person. Pull down the menu and say, oh, okay, I'm going to, shock them in the leg, or whatever, or I'm going to put images in their head, or I'm going to make them hear voices that are, voice of God kind of weapons and things like that, or I'm going to make them feel nauseous.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
I'm not hit really by the voice to skull, but I have a question about it because it may help determine whether in fact I am. Is voice to skull in every case where they're implanting voices in your head and they're specific and they're telling you things and you're actually responding to them, or can voice to skull actually be you hearing something from the next side of the wall where you're doing a voice, like you're hearing a voice of someone you know, or if you're at your office, you're actually hearing, you think someone's talks about you. And
it can be both.
Okay, so
it can be both, yeah.
Because I have other people that have contacted me and they tell me that they're getting specific demands, like, you will do this, you will do that, and they've actually telling them what to do, or they're calling them a fucking pussy, whatever.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll cuss at you and try to break down your ego, so to speak. They'll try to make you.
So that all falls under the same exact category.
Yeah, it's the generic term is voice to skull, but it can be from the other room, or it can be even in your own voice being said these things. And
the only thing that I've absolutely firsthand have experienced, and they make it very, I could absolutely positively believe that someone's like talking right above my roof. Like when I thought I was being arrested, a cop, actually saying, we're going to keep you in there just this month for a little while, etc. like that, and he's talking to us good. And that's the closest I've come to that. And at work, the only reason why I tend not to think it was voice to skull is I was able to actually corroborate what I heard people saying with physical evidence.
Yeah.
And it's the physical evidence which conclusively let me know that this is actually, a couple times I said to myself, did I hear that right? But then the photographs and the photographs I've taken completely corroborated what they were saying.
Yeah.
Which made me, I was happy or sad. It's a no-win situation. Either I'm crazy or I'm pissed at what's taking place in my life.
It's still confirmation of what's happening. Either way, it may not be what you want to hear, but it's still a confirmation that it's happening.
And here's the connection points that they use.
I don't even actually have to look at that because I actually know exactly where
you'll feel headaches in these areas.
I know exactly.
Plug them in at a distance.
Yes. When they actually run the frequencies, and it's just like each one of us. Look at every single one of us. We're all different. We all have different fingerprints. We all have different DNA. We all actually vibrate at a different frequency. Our brain waves are always at a slightly different frequency, whether it's your alpha or your beta or your theta waves. So once they can get what's called a EEG of your brainwave pattern, it's EEG cloning is what they call it. Once they can get an actual, the frequency and how your brain waves actually the minute differences in it, then they can actually clone your own EEG and then send what they call synthetic telepathy, remote neural monitoring, whatever you want to call it. But how it works is it bypasses your senses and it goes directly into the middle of the brain. There's a place called your hippocampus, and at the bottom of your hippocampus, your thalamus is your hippocampus, then you have your thalamus. At the bottom of it is where all your nerve centers come together, your sense of touch, sight, smell, hearing. It comes together at the amygdala, and that's what they target. So that's when people feel like at night or something, when they're in bed, when they feel somebody touching them or something like that, that's directed directly at that.
And that's when they usually do the broadcast.
Yeah, and at nighttime, you know, they love, and I don't know how the rest of you are, but for me, 3:33 in the morning, boom. And the reason they do that is because it's basically the witching hour. You know, it's the Antichrist hour, meaning, you know, Christ was supposedly killed on the cross for 3:30, you know, in the afternoon. Well, Satanic looks at 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. as the witching hour. So every night for me, at least, other people can be a little bit different. 3:33 in the morning, I wake up, I'm nauseous. You know, and it's just how it is.
When you, at the beginning, you gave 3 different approaches. You said the military, the 3 different.
Oh, I haven't got to the third one yet.
Well,
but
when you say that, though, when you say satanic, are you kind of being facetious?
No, it's an actual. It's like a Hollywood script.
Do you believe there's some kind of interaction satanically between the government, or do you actually think it's for covert purposes?
It's done for covert purposes.
Thank you, man. Can I get a glass of water, please?
Yeah, no problem. It's done for covert purposes because they only have about 12 different scripts, and the reason I call them scripts is because they're like Hollywood scripts.
Well, I was interested in your choice of word satanic because they get so many people.
Oh well, the reason they love using that one is because it bothers people so much, especially people that believe in God. And so I actually know a TI who they were attacking him so hard with the satanic script. They had him convinced that his parents were part of a satanic cult, that his friends were part of a satanic cult, and he actually attacked his dad because they had him believing that he was, you know, that his dad was part of a satanic cult, which
that's the divide and conquer program.
Yeah,
and get everybody in a group against each other, and now it's weakening.
Yeah, but the point is you see how they kept on pushing that particular script because they knew it bothered him.
So my question
bad.
is, so are you of the belief, again, I never reach any conclusions, but are you of the belief that this is actually a satanic organization, or do you believe this is government using something that appears to be satanic, like you just...
I believe it's sort of both. I believe it's the government using that, but then again, I believe that a lot of this technology comes out of, you know, secret societies, Luciferians, even you know, yeah, whether or not you believe it, but the Illuminati is alive and well and kicking today. Masonry is kind of a different thing, you know, because most Masons are just, you know, civic type of people, but then when you get up to the 3rd degree of Masonry, you can enter into other secret societies, and then, you know, like the Knights of Malta, and, you know, if you're a Mormon and things like that, and that's where the actual Luciferianism comes in, and that's when they start to actually bring these people, for example, my brother-in-law, you know, he's a Mason and he has a high security clearance in Washington, D.C. And, you know, the thing is the reason he has such a high security clearance in the things he does is because he is a Mason. So it's a cyclical type of thing. You know, if you look back at NASA and putting a man on the moon, you know, the top leaders, you know, Operation Paperclip and stuff, you know, they were the master Masons of their secret society. The underlings of them were the Luciferians, and then so on and so forth down the ladder. So I mean, and that's a, you know, a provable fact of that. So
I've seen that when you go near a Masonic area and there's that kind of black magic going on, that it intensifies.
Yeah.
So if somebody has willed physical hazards to you, like he's had physical hazards willed, I think he's had physical hazards willed too. If you go by a Masonic temple, you will see people gathered around it.
Well,
It's a hot spot because the black magic it's Masonic, so it comes through the Masonic temples.
If you ever look at a Masonic temple, they're all built with the same dimensions. Not dimensions, but ratios of dimensions. And you're always going to find what's called the golden mean, which is the 1 to 1.6, 1 to 8, or something like that. That's another subject. So let me continue on. And then the third type of targeting that I've witnessed and I've seen is what I call privatized or consultant type targeting. Usually this happens to people that have had run-ins with local municipalities or county municipalities. For instance, I know numerous people that have had run-ins with code enforcement and then become targeted. And how that works on the private level is, and this is really pathetic how these people work. The person, let's say the I don't know, county commissioner or code enforcement guy or whatever, he's the ringleader, but he hires out, you know, basically pieces of shit people. People that have never amounted to anything in their entire lives. People that maybe barely have a high school education, if not dropouts. They've never had any sort of power whatsoever in their entire lives. And they have never had any sort of significance in their life. So when they're hired out, you know, not a lot of money is actually exchanged. You know, people are doing this, you know, for $1,000 or less, or even free, because they find that little amount of power that they can put over somebody else is enough of satisfaction to them to make them feel like they're all powerful in doing so.
You know, that makes sense, and I've thought about this kind of thing. But those guys not being all that bright, and I think I encounter them, what happens when they get taken down and they say, oh, well, they paid me to do this and that? Because those are the first kind of pieces of
They don't even know why they do it. That's how bad it is.
Let's move to the next slide.
And I do
here.
agree with you that, I mean, I've seen those personalities.
This is all the stuff basically with my table of contents here. But
can we get email notes on what you're speaking about?
Absolutely.
Okay, great, thank you.
So anyway, I go through, on the second page, I go through the main points of governmental targeting. So if you want to turn to the second page there, I think it's actually the second page.
One quick question, of these three areas, like mobsters, you piss them off, do you think they do any of this stuff or not? Seems to me
the mobsters, I would imagine the mobsters take care of those in different ways than that. They don't
screw around.
Yeah, they're gonna
magic. Satanic magic.
They're gonna bust your kneecaps or you know, make you pay up or something.
I'd rather
like
have them come do that than screw around with this stuff.
So anyway, the main points of governmental targeting, you know, I put in the PowerPoint, and we kind of talked about it. A lot of times whistleblowers are targets of that as well. I go more into the military targeting on the following page, so you guys can read through that. And then, of course, you see I have a ton on the privatized and consultant-driven targeting. And basically, where was that? Well, like I said, most of the time these people aren't educated. You know, they've never had any power whatsoever in their lives. They've never had any sense of accomplishment. So, you know, they'll have a handler, such as, you know, the code enforcement guy or the county commissioner. And then what they'll do is they'll get their little group of friends together that will start targeting whoever they're sent to target. And, you know, they might get as little as $1,000 or, you know, maybe some equipment to do targeting with or things like that. But the instant that police are involved or court dates are involved, the people that are around the main perpetrator, and I'm not talking about the top guy that's using an underling, you know, to do the main perpy, they will jump ship like nobody's business. I've actually seen it. They will literally, if there's court involved or if police get involved, those people that are helping, the main guy that's doing the targeting against somebody, they're gone. They don't want anything else to do with that guy because they don't want anything to do with court. They don't want anything to do with police, and so they will jump ship if they're called if the perp is called out on them being a perpetrator, targeting somebody. The people that are helping him or her will jump ship.
So that when you call God the judge to do justice,
yeah, exactly.
Take off.
There's been times where.
Yeah, but when you say this is for me, there lies the problem. Okay, when you say they will abandon ship, okay, you're damn right they're going to abandon ship, but not abandon ship in a way that's going to help us. Abandon ship and deny.
Yeah, but they're not going to come back and help the guy anymore.
So therefore, it's like you kill a roach here, and you got another roach coming out. That's how come when people contact me to handle temporary restraining orders for them. I know you're involved with what's in your
Yeah.
I almost, in most cases, advise them not to waste their money spending it on me. I don't like to give money because, okay, so you stop this neighbor.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, you're going to have this neighbor on you.
Yeah.
So you're going to be throwing your money down the toilet
and also restraining orders.
That's because the black magic they do wills enemies to you. So
and restraining orders really don't have any.
It brings enemies to you to do magic.
But the word might get around if you.
But what I'm saying is that the neighbors that are helping the person that's actually doing the targeting on somebody else, they won't want anything to do with the actual person anymore, and they'll actually avoid them. So it leaves that person alone. And if you keep calling them out on being a stalker or a harasser or whatever, just like I said, Kathleen's stalker started stalking me. And 20 people I was standing outside with, I told them that this guy was stalking me, and him and his wife. We went back in, and I pointed at them, and I said, "See, this guy and this gal are the ones that are stalking me," and they didn't know what to do. And 20 people started laughing at them, and they got up and ran out of there as fast as they could. So when you call them out on it, I mean, it does scare them because it tells them that you know what they're doing.
I just wanted to say, like, my best evidence, and no one ever got to see it on Dr. Phil, but my best evidence is that I carry a tape recorder around all the time, okay? Not on my phone. I carry around a tape recorder that's not connected to the internet, just like that. Good job.
I was going to say, I have 3 of these, and this has a USB and can hold up to 200 hours. The ones I have, I sell on my website, hold up to 800 hours.
Oh, wow.
I always have at least 2 of these with me. And I'm not recording right now, but it goes automatic voice recording. Yeah.
What's the cost of those, sir?
The smaller ones with less time like this are about $30. The ones with
40 hours?
no 200 hours.
200 hours?
Yeah. The ones with 800 hours are around, I think, $45 or $50.
But you sell that one on your site.
Yeah.
Do you sell
and the cool thing is it's got a USB plug, so you plug into your computer and you get it downloads everything. So
do you have one that's completely motion censored?
Yeah, this is automatic voice. You can set it for obviously I have it set for dictation.
What I would do is
and it starts whenever it hears the automatic voice recorder.
I set traps where I would actually have them in my house.
And the main thing with this is since it has a red light, I put a little piece of tape over it so you can't tell, and you can put it underneath something or something like that and just let it go.
I get the conversation rolling, I go to the bathroom, and then I see what I got left on the tape.
So this is definitely something that everybody should have. I mean, everybody that's a TI should have.
And how does the battery work? How do you keep it?
It's easy. The battery, I mean, there's 2 AA or AAA.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So you use that to record a situation where you think people are talking about you? What? I don't quite record.
I always use 2. When I go out, I put one in a pocket of mine, and that will automatically record voices when it hears a voice, and then the other one I usually leave rolling inside my house. In case somebody comes into my house, then I'll know that because a lot of times what happens is these perps, they'll go into the house and rearrange things, but they never steal anything, because they stole something, then it's burglary, the cops get involved. If nothing gets stolen, the cops aren't going to do anything. So.
You know, the camera starts to prove that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can install a camera system if you want to.
Have you seen someone on a camera do that?
They disable it so quickly.
Yeah, but the thing about
Well,
the thing about cameras is a lot of times the wires run outside and all they need.
Wireless stuff like that.
They disable it so.
I mean, all you need is a pair of scissors and you can
Well, how come they
bypass.
don't find this in and shut that off and record that?
I mean, you can put this underneath something. This is something that you're not going to really see, you know.
Time for some Chinese door guys.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, that's just one thing. So anyway, with the privatized, you know, and I think a lot more of you know, it really boils down to municipalities, local, county, lower governmental people, but they're the ones that think they have more power than they actually do. And I know this for fact because I work for the state for EDD in job service, and there was only 8 of us, but we shared a building with the best and brightest of social services. And I mean, these people worked 20 years to get into their positions that they were in, and they were pathetic. I mean, no offense. I mean, I went in making more money and was way more efficient, and I mean, these people worked 20 years to get to where they were at, and it was sad, you know, that was their whole life.
So you maybe they're stalking you because you're saying that thing, Don.
Oh, actually,
No,
the electronic
because-
mind control
because you-
system,
you
it actually
talk-
lowers cognizance when it floods into these areas. It actually takes brain activity over and lowers your cognizance.
You talk like I do, which we speak freely, that's great. I have a question to ask you, though, about the, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, I'll ask you. Oh, these perpetrators are out there, and what about these clowns, these lowlifes they hire and say that to follow a guy around, and they're given some weapon or something, or something to do with some help. Then they decide they don't like their neighbor, and they go off on their own, like vigilante, doing something. I mean, they possibly would do that too, right?
I'm kind of glad you got into that.
Because they're going to be targeted.
They're a bunch of lowlifes. Well, they threaten if they don't obey. What about when they run away? Do they get targeted?
Let me tell you,
They're trained to obey.
Listen,
What?
They trained to obey.
Then why would they run away when the perpetrator gets caught?
Because they're told to run away.
Well, I was going to go into triangulation next, but to be able to show how you triangulate signals with meters. But I ran across this on a website, and it was really cheap.
And what's it called?
It's called the Sonic Nauseator. And now, you don't hear anything. I hear the same exact ringing in my ears that I hear when I get tinnitus. Now, it's a directional microphone, so watch.
I hear
You hear
that.
it? Hear it?
I can hear it, yeah.
Hear it?
Yes,
Very high.
very strong.
That's
Very high.
annoying, but that doesn't feel anything like
No,
it.
but what I'm saying, you keep aiming this at somebody, and it starts messing with the cilia, the little hairs in your inner ear, and it's the same thing as motion sickness.
what is that called?
It's called the Sonic Nauseator, and this actually has a range of up to 600 feet. And so you could be down the street. I mean, look at some of this thing. I mean, you could have it in a pocket for for God's sake.
Can that go into infrasound though? That's too
Yeah.
Football field.
You could put it in, so we wouldn't hear it then.
What's the
Yeah, well,
frequency range?
Or ultrasound.
This
Yeah.
this is most people can't hear above about 18,000 18 kilohertz.
And as we
18,000
age,
hertz.
it gets...
Yeah, and it gets
easier.
lower.
Can you do this direction so I could see if I can?
Oh, yeah, I can hear it.
Here.
Just kind of a
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah,
like,
a whine.
Yeah, let me try.
Is this the one that the police use for riot control, but it's the person
yeah,
functioning to
this
get
is
disoriented, nauseous?
a personal use one that I mean, if you wanted to, say you had a neighbor or something that you were annoyed at, you just stick it on the wall, it would go through the wall and cause nausea that way.
Perps. You could
But-
use it on perps, right?
Yeah, you could use it on perps, but I'm saying perps probably could use this type of
Yeah.
device on us,
But you
because
could-
when I first got this thing and I turned it, it's the same exact sound I hear when I get to tinnitus.
So what is in
here,
the
so.
air that they put?
Well, you have 5 bones inside your inner ear, you know, that you know, you have your eardrum and then 5 bones behind that. But you also have little hairs, and the hairs are called cilia. And those 5 bones with those hairs, that is what causes you to not have dementia or, you know, and not have vertigo. But if those hairs are vibrating, or if the little bones are vibrating, after, you know, and like I said, it's not going to cause, you know, instant nausea, but if that keeps going for half an hour or probably more, you probably will get nauseated from your.
But what would they implant while
it's not, it doesn't need an implant. It's because it's vibrating inside the inner ear.
Is
and
it a
it's
wave?
causing you the same idea as having seasickness or motion sickness. It's doing the same thing.
Is it a wave that leaves that, or is it something else? It's not a wave?
It's a sound wave. It's a sound wave, yeah.
It's a sound wave. Sound
Do
wave.
they have to have a clear shot, or can it go through walls?
You can put it, it'll go through walls.
But Levi, what about the size of that wave though? That's the point. If it's infrasound, which is very low frequency,
Yeah.
it will go through a wall. But that has a very short thing. That's kind of a
I put this outside my house. I put it up
Okay.
against my wall. I stood in my kitchen. I could still hear
Okay,
this.
and I believe you on this, and I believe they're doing this stuff, but I guess they're using weapons with a heck of a lot more energy to
Well,
make sure that
now, let's move up to.
Yeah, Hark plus the Gwen Tower.
Now let's
that's a
move
lot.
up to its big brother, and this is the one they use for riot control and crowd control.
So this is going to do infrasound and ultrasound, right?
Yeah, but this is what the police can use for. It's marketed as, you know, generator acoustic high pressure, and it's actually marketed for riot control and crowd control for police departments. And this can actually disperse an entire crowd.
My
and
God.
like you can see, you know, you can hear the
Oh, yeah.
sound.
It's
I can even
annoying.
hear.
It's annoying, but
Yeah.
what about going to an infrasound frequency? If we do that, we won't hear it. And then that's going to make us sick. and
If
stop our heart and all that stuff.
if it's at the right
Does that make any sense?
frequency.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, I can hear it.
You can't.
Does
You-
this cause
you
the
can't hear it?
stomach?
This is why they don't
You're
work
lucky.
on me that much.
Does it cause the stomach to go backwards, or how does
Well,
this
what happens? Your inner ear is what causes you to remain, you know, stationary and upright. When you're getting seasick, your inner ear is being bounced
So it's the
around.
same thing as a small.
So this thing vibrating the hair and the bones in your inner ear is eventually
Maybe
going
it's
to
the
make
signal
you
like
nauseous
I'm near
and sick
LAX,
to your
so
stomach.
I think we'll get
But
that
this
all
is
the time.
this is what they use for a larger crowd of people.
Is it still
this-
on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
What about if someone gets onto their hands in a surgery and they implant something? That keeps on whooshing.
I mean,
They don't have to do that. That's ancient technology.
No, they did.
Well, they
To
can,
me.
yeah, they did, they have, but it's
Yeah,
ancient
the problem is that the swooshing is 24 hours on 24
What's the
hours.
distance on that?
So maybe
on this?
one of
Yes.
these devices
It's a different
is
program.
off.
Up
It's a
to
different
nearly a kilometer is what they said, what the specs are on.
Some people get in
So the other
this
one was
program, some
600
people get in
feet,
that
this is
program.
about a kilometer.
What's that called again?
This is called.
How can you
this one
stop it?
is called a acoustic high pressure generator or sonic nausea machine. You can look up sonic nauseators.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I have a constant
The ringing.
ringing,
Yeah.
swooshing, sometimes stronger,
Uh-huh.
but there is one that is constant.
Yeah.
How can I stop it?
How to find
It's
it?
in there.
How to remove
Is
it?
it
Did
a
you say
high?
pulsing
You hear
too?
something like,
Like
No,
your blood
no
is
pulsing.
pulsing, you can feel your blood moving?
No.
No.
Whoosh.
Is it like a?
You know,
Or is
yeah.
it a constant?
Yes.
With nausea?
Oh, I have nausea, I have pains in joints, I have all kinds, but that's, it's
Not
not
at the same
constant.
time?
No, not at the same time. This one is constant, the
Number
nausea
one,
is attached to
it's a
other things.
a two-pronged attack that you would want to do. Number one, you would want to get a broad spectrum meter that, you know, goes anywhere from 0 hertz up to 8 gigahertz, and you know they run anywhere between $300 and $500.
Where do I get that?
You can order them off my website. The same
On your
one
website?
that I use.
Okay, but they're interfering with my mail, so if you send me something, it's gonna be
it'll
destroyed
get
by the
there.
time I get
Well,
there.
it'll get there because I make sure to package thing. It should get there, and I don't put what's in the package and stuff.
Do you have a...
Meter and then what? Megahertz?
Well, you need a meter so you can find out what frequency is actually being generated that you're hearing.
I was analyzed by Stanninger and Melinda Kidder, and they have found, I have even the reports in my car, so, but how am I going to...
Does this look familiar?
Oh, that's what she used?
Do you work for any group that is connected to the government? I mean, like post office?
No.
EDD,
No, actually, I had to quit my job. I was in hotel business.
I have this later on in my PowerPoint. These don't detect implants at all. These are just nothing more than
I don't know what she used, but she did find a ton of things.
Yeah, what'll happen? These measure milligauss. I mean, you can trick these with I don't know.
No, Melinda, it was
piece of
quite
metal. But I mean,
explicit.
you know, I can run just by putting a magnet behind it, you know. These do not.
Okay, now, how to get rid of this thing?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. You need, first of all, so people who look for implants with this device, it's phony. And so that's just
my feeling.
That's just it's. You're not going to find anything.
Is that because it's too cheap the way it is, or what?
No, EMF meters are not meant to find quote implants.
Oh, okay.
No.
But so. And you also think any kind of thing that's like in a smartphone, like an EMF meter in there, that's great for EMF kind of stuff, but not to find implants again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You're looking for a frequency spectrum.
What would you use for like Gwen or HARP? So I can hear this all the time.
Gwen,
I can tell you when
I've got the
when-
frequencies.
Yeah, I was going to say
Obama
the
is flying.
frequencies are on the internet for both of those. And I would imagine HARP is probably within the X-band frequencies, which is something that your meters aren't going to find. Anyway, back to
I've got those frequencies
what
if
you
you're
guys
looking
were
for a
talking
meter,
about.
the exact
First,
frequencies.
Okay.
a broadband
Spectrum.
frequency spectrum meter. You know, and the one I recommend goes up to 8 gigahertz, so that goes way up nicely into the microwave range. And it starts out at 0, so it covers UHF, VHF, ELF, you know, TV, AM radio, FM radio, microwaves.
Yeah,
so
but this is to find.
Yeah, I know, but
How to stop it.
Yeah, and so once you find out
Know what
what
you're
the
dealing with.
frequency is, and this is what I'm while you're finding out what frequency is, go to Walmart and buy I don't know, what do they call it, pill bottle of 100 motion sickness tablets, like $4 or something for 100, and take 2. They're Dramamine is what they are. They're just like, you know, Walmart brand Dramamine. But what that'll do is take away nausea while you're doing that. And when you find the actual frequency of what is being generated, then you can actually reproduce that same frequency out of a speaker, and it'll nullify that sound.
So there is a solution to that?
Yes.
Oh, God bless you.
Yeah, you can actually run the same frequency back out of a speaker,
So what
and it'll actually nullify. It'll nullify the sound.
And there's also a device that will hear what you have and reverse the waveform using sound cancellation.
Exactly.
Will you help guide through that?
Yeah, you can email me more about it, but yeah.
If you do that, why don't you just play like a pink sound or a white sound and just annihilate everything then? Or
Because it doesn't quite work that way.
Outside the frequencies.
You're mashing a
I'm
bunch
not
of stuff
technical
together.
about all
Lock
that.
a microwave with a catcher's
things
mitt.
that you
See how
buy
good it does.
to nullify noise from
You have to
Brookstone or
neutralize
whatever.
Yeah.
it. You can't
Is
do
that the same or?
You know, I've never tried the Bose noise canceling headphones, but
Who
You
knows?
might try it and see if it works. I've never tried it,
Did
so
you
I
try
don't
that?
know.
Yeah.
Noise cancellation?
Didn't work.
Doesn't-
So anyway, let's get back to what I was talking about. Understanding RF meters and triangulation. This is how to find out where a frequency is coming from. And I have do's and don'ts. And basically, the graph I put here is a measurement of amplitude of frequencies. So these are 3 frequency reads, but the amplitude of the frequency here measured by distances. And this one was my starting point, and this was distance A, distance B, distance C. So I put it on a graph as to how high of the amplitude of the frequency and what the frequencies were for the 3 readings I did at 3 different spots. And each time you do a reading, you want to go 1 to 3 miles away from where you took your reading there. So let's say I took a starting point reading right here. I would want to go in one direction 1 to 3 miles, take another reading, and then go in another direction 1 to 3 miles and take a reading.
You make a triangle?
Well, yeah, I like to stay on a straight line,
Okay.
personally, but I mean you can go in different ways, and that's how I'm showing you the first way, which
It
is
doesn't point, does it? Your
what?
triangulation.
Well, the thing is you can tell the frequency.
You can triangulate through pointing.
Well, yeah,
So here
but
it's
you
pointing
can
this
tell
way.
you can tell on the amplitude of the frequency.